night. You really do. Because if you're another born night, things don't go well for you. Like for instance, my friend Rupert, he was the fourth son. Now the first son, he got the castle and the crown, and he got to be the king the next day, and it was also good. The second born son got the vineyards in France. He really, really liked those vineyards in France, I don't know why. The third son, he got the royal galleon, finest ship on land or sea. And, well, he really had no use for a galleon, but then he thought about something. If he turned it into a pirate ship, he could get rid of his name, which was Bert, and give himself a really good pirate name. So he renamed the galleon the Bounding Spleen, and he gave himself a really good pirate name too, Bob. And then the fourth son was Rupert. Now Rupert, when it was time to get his inheritance, he went up to the royal steward, and the royal steward said, hold out your hand. This didn't bode well. So, but he went up, and in the hand of the steward, there was a carbuncle, which is a little red jewel. And he looked at it and he said, well, that's not too bad. I could buy maybe a nice house with that somewhere. But it's kind of a funny color. It looks kind of like a kidney bean. The royal steward said, it is a kidney bean. Your father's wars, there's nothing left in the treasury. Too bad you don't have any such thing as a national debt. So the kidney bean is all you get. And oh, by the way, your older brother, the new king, doesn't want anybody mooching around the castle. So see you later, goodbye. And poor Rupert found himself out in front of the castle with nothing but the princely clothes on his back and a kidney bean in his hand. But he was a resourceful fellow with a nice liberal arts education. He figured he could put it to good use, and off he went down the road. And it wasn't very long before he smelled something really good. He smelled some bubbly fruit pie and some roast beef. It was that honey mead with a touch of cinnamon, the kind of good smells you find around an inn. Well, Rupert said, an inn? I can live very nicely in an inn. They wait on you hand and foot. They feed you good food. You get to drink all night. Sounds like the place for me. So he went down to the inn. Now, the innkeeper didn't know that Rupert didn't have anything to his wealth anymore but a kidney bean. All he knew was that there was a prince standing in the doorway of the castle. And, not the castle, the inn. The innkeeper went up and said, "Oh, Your Highness! Come on in, you can walk across, it's okay." He said, Your Highness, please come in, sit down, have our finest meal, and my daughter will serve you a cup of honey mead. So Rupert sat down in a chair. You can come through if you want. So Rupert sat down, and the landlord's daughter came by, and it was really good honey mead, but you know what? The landlord's daughter was really cute. And Prince Rupert started to get an idea about how he could maybe turn his fortune around. Because all he had to his name was a kidney bean. That's all he inherited. He was the fourth son. So anyway, when he ate enough for 2 grown men that night, and then he had the innkeeper bring him to his finest room, and then he was a food. And then he said to the innkeeper, "Oh, innkeeper, would you mind taking care of something valuable for me?" "Well, of course," said the innkeeper. "That's one of my jobs." "Well, I have this very valuable jewel. Would you please look after it, make sure nothing happens to it?" "Oh, yes, Your Highness," said the innkeeper, "but it's a very strange-looking carbuncle. It looks kind of like a kidney bean." "No, it's not. It's a carbuncle, and it's been in the family for generations. Now, you take good care of this." So the landlord went downstairs, and he hid it behind the candlesticks, and then he went upstairs to bed. Now, Prince Rupert was watching him, and after everyone in the inn had gone to sleep, he came creeping down those stairs, sort of humming a little tune to himself. "Would you mind my bean, would you mind for me? It's the prettiest bean that you ever will see. If you wouldn't mind, if you'd be so kind, would you mind my bean for me?" Well, Prince Rupert went down to the barn, and he went and he got the landlord's big prime rooster, and he brought the rooster into the inn, and he showed it where the kidney bean was hidden up on the mantelpiece. And then he went to bed, and everybody in the inn was asleep. And in the morning, when Prince Rupert came downstairs, the innkeeper was just sort of sitting there with his head in his hands, looking very worried. "Oh, my good man," said the prince, "is there anything wrong?" "Oh, Your Highness," said the innkeeper, "I don't know how to tell you this, but somehow during the night my rooster got in, and he ate your carbuncle. I'm so sorry. You don't have to pay for your food and lodging. In fact, stay another night on me." And Prince Rupert said, "Well, that's not fair. It was your rooster ate my carbuncle. I want the rooster." "Very well, Your Highness," said the innkeeper. So Prince Rupert stayed all day. He ate enough for 3 grown men. And when he went upstairs to bed that night, he said to the landlord, "Oh, landlord, Would you mind my rooster? Would you mind for me? He's the prettiest bird that you ever will see. If you wouldn't mind, if you'd be so kind, would you mind my rooster for me? Oh, if you insist, said the landlord. Now he took the rooster out to the barn and he put him in the pigeon coop, the hen house, and he made sure everything was nice and secure, and then he went upstairs to bed. And after everyone was asleep, Prince Rupert came creeping down the stairs again. He went out to the barn, he took the rooster and he put him in the pig pen. And then he went back to bed. When he came downstairs in the morning, the landlord was just sort of pacing around the floor looking very worried. Dear sir, is there another problem? Said the prince. Oh, your highness, the strangest thing, I went down to the barn this morning and your rooster was in the pig pen. And the pig sat on him and squashed him flat. He's dead. Oh, that really is a shame, said Prince Rupert. What are you going to do about that? Oh, you can stay another day, eat as much as you want. No, said Prince Rupert. It was your pig, squished my rooster. I want the pig. All right, said the landlord. So Prince Rupert spent another day eating it up with 4 grown men. And when he went upstairs to bed that night, he said, oh, landlord, would you mind my piggy? Would you mind for me? Well, you know the rest of the song. The landlord said, oh, all right, I'll mind your pig. And he really tried. You have to give him brownie points for this. He went out to the barn and he made sure that that pigsty was as secure as it could possibly be. He put a couple of extra boards in there. He just made sure that that pig wasn't going to go anywhere. And then he went upstairs to bed and everybody in the inn went to sleep. And in the middle of the night, Prince Rupert came creeping down those stairs again. And he took the pig out of the pig pen and he put him in the stall with the landlord's great big plow horse. The ones with the feet that look like saucers. And then he went back to bed. And when he came back downstairs in the morning, oh, the landlord was just sort of sitting there, rocking back and forth, looking rather lost. You poor man, said Prince Rupert. What seems to be the problem now? Your Highness, you're not going to believe this, but I went downstairs this morning and somehow the pig got out of the pig pen and got into the stall with my plow horse, and the horse kicked him. All the way to France. He's gone. Oh, that's terrible, said Prince Rupert. Now what are you going to do about that? I don't suppose more food and lodging is going to do it, huh? No, said Prince Rupert. It was your horse kicked my pig. I want your horse. Oh, very well, said the landlord. It's only fair. So Prince Rupert has worked himself up from a kidney bean to a rooster, to a pig, to a horse. Looking pretty good. And then he ate enough that day for 5 grown men. And when he went to bed that night, he said, oh, landlord, I'm not going to sing you the song. Would you take care of my plow horse? Oh, very well, said the landlord, if I must. Now, the landlord thought about it, and he decided to keep the horse where he could keep an eye on him. So he took the best, biggest rope that he had, and he tied the horse in front of the inn to the nice big tree out in front, where he could look out his window all through the night and just make sure that the horse was still there. And then he went to bed. Prince Rupert came creeping down the stairs in the middle of the night, and he went out and he took his little penknife out and he cut through that rope till there was just a little bitty strand holding that horse. And then he went back upstairs to bed. When he came downstairs in the morning, the landlord was prostrate with grief on the floor. Oh, you poor man, said Prince Rupert. What troubles you have? Please, tell me what's wrong this morning. Oh, your Highness, said the landlord, I don't know how to say this, but my daughter went to take the horse for a drink of water this morning, and the rope broke and the horse ran away and it's gone. Your daughter, huh? Said Prince Rupert. Well, it was your daughter lost my horse. I want your daughter's hand in marriage. See, Prince Rupert figured that he could stay at the inn for the rest of his life, be waited on hand and foot, have as much food and drink as he wanted, almost as good as being a king. The landlord said, very well, wait here. When he came back in a couple of minutes, the landlord was dragging a heavy burlap sack behind him. What's this? Said Prince Rupert. My daughter is in the sack, said the landlord. I can't bear to see her married. Just take her and go. Take her and go? Said Prince Rupert. Just take her and go. And he slammed the door, and Prince Rupert found himself standing on the doorstep with a burlap bag full of girl. Well, he was a resourceful fellow with a liberal arts education. He figured out something to do, and he picked up the burlap bag and threw it over his shoulder, and he started off down the road. Well, he hadn't gone very far when it suddenly occurred to him, why am I carrying this young lady? She has 2 feet of her own. So he put the bag down and he opened it up and out jumped the landlord's very large watchdog. And for all I know, it's chasing Prince Rupert down the road still while he sings, would you mind my dog, would you mind for me? It's the ugliest dog that you ever will see. If you wouldn't mind, if you'd be so kind, oh please, would you mind my dog for me? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.